Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another horror movie night. Tonight, I will be reviewing The Fog, released in 1980. The Fog stars Adrienne Barbeau, Tom Atkins, Jamie Lee Curtis, Hal Holbrook, Janet Leigh, Nancy Loomis, Charles Cyphers, George Buck Flower, Darwin Joston, Rob Bottin, and John Houseman. The Fog was directed by John Carpenter and was written by Carpenter and Dipper Hill. Now, this film has always been a favorite of mine. I love the intro with John Houseman's Mr. Munchin. His ghost story in which he tells about Blake around this campfire is just, it sets the mood for this film so well. Now some people have talked about this one and said that it's too slow, too boring, and I don't know what the fuck film they're watching. Because I don't care if it's slow, as long as it is an intriguing story that is continuing forward. And that is the case with The Fog, in my opinion. John Carpenter does a very good job directing this with intriguing characters. Adrienne Barbeau's Stevie is a very interesting character. Tom Atkins, his character of Nick Castle, is, as usual, I mean, Tom Atkins is amazing. Jamie Lee Curtis, who I'm not really a big fan of, she does well in this because this film is more a ensemble piece, so it's not all about her. So she works better in that kind of a film, in my opinion. Hal Holbrook is always strong, playing the character of Father Patrick Malone. He is the glue that holds this whole film together. And he does such a great job playing the character, as does Janet Leigh as Kathy Williams. Now, her little sidekick character, played by Nancy Loomis, Sandy, I've never been a big fan of Nancy Loomis's acting, and like I said with Jamie Lee Curtis, I guess she's more serviceable in this one just because this is a ensemble piece. So I think I can stomach Nancy Loomis's performance in this one as opposed to trying to watch her in Halloween. Charles Cyphers plays a smaller role, playing the character of Dan O'Banion. And he is always strong, and his character is really good in here. George Buck Flower plays Tommy Wallace. It is so funny to me that in this film, John Carpenter just named his characters in this friends of his who have either worked with him or that he is just friends with in the industry and everything. And, you know, he's got, you know, the name of, you know, Tom Atkins's character is Nick Castle, which was Michael Myers in Halloween. Then you have, of course, Dan O'Banion, who was the creator, basically, of The Return of the Living Dead, amongst other things. what was a great friend of John Carpenter's around this time, so he, named this character that Charles Cyphers plays after him. And then, of course, there's Tommy Wallace. There's Tommy Lee Wallace, who he basically was working on this film and yet had a name for a character with George Buck Flower's character named after him. And then, of course, there is the small appearance of Darwin Joston as Dr. Phibes. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, John Carpenter named this coroner after the character that Vincent Price played in the 1971 film, The Abominable Dr. Phibes. Yeah. But his portrayal in this as Dr. Phibes is so well done. And it's funny because he played a leading role in Assault on Precinct 13 in 1976 for John Carpenter. It was good to get to see him in this, even though it was a small role for him. He doesn't get to make Dr. Phibes such a badass like he was in Assault on Precinct 13, but he is good in his portrayal. And speaking of Blake, the main villain, Rob Bottin plays him. Rob Bottin was the big effects artist who worked on The Thing and would eventually do effects on The Howling, amongst other horror effects and everything. Great effects artist. And he's not bad in this. He's very creepy in this as Blake. His portrayal as Blake is the way that Carpenter lights and puts the Blake and his cohorts together, coming out of the fog and attacking people and killing people. Very, very atmospheric. It is very well done. Well done film. Well written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. Great performances all around the board. There's not much else I can say about this one. If you have not seen The Fog from 1980, you do not know what you're missing. I think this is one of John Carpenter's best films that he ever did. So I am going to give The Fog from 1980. I am going to give this film a 9.7 out of 10. There's not much negative I can say about this one, really. It is pretty damn close to being a perfect film. Like I said, the atmosphere, the mood of the film, the performances, all of it pulls you in. It draws you into the story. It draws you into the world that John Carpenter has created here. And I think it fully works. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? Let me know in those comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan.
Well, that's it for another horror movie night. If you missed last week's horror movie night video, you can check it out in the link above. Or if you have missed any of our videos on horror movie night, check out this playlist and you can check out anything that you've missed.